What's going on, everybody? 6 o'clock. I think I made it on the dot. This is 3D Printing Sunday, formerly STL Sunday. The whole point of what we're doing on this series is it's a live stream where we take a project and try and work from start to finish on something that we're designing in 3D modeling, CAD, whatever. Today we're using Fusion 360, like every week, and it's free. It's linked in the description below. You can check that out. This isn't necessarily a how-to on modeling. It's just a walkthrough of how I kind of break down a project into steps, and maybe you'll pick up a tip or trick along the way, possibly. If nothing else, maybe it'll just get you to drawing yourself. That's the whole point anyway. I've been drafting for a long time, so, don't be intimidated by that, even though I'm by no means an expert. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking in. I'm not late. It was 6 on the dot when it said it here. 116. Oh, Jonathan was saying. It was like 110 or 11 or that's not, yeah, it was like 110. I don't know. It is stupid hot here as well. Today, what I am hoping to work on, what I'm going to work on, which you guys are forced to be able to watch me work on, is I'm going to be working on my monthly Mayhem project. It is in the middle of Mayhem week or month, whatever it is. So just about any spare time I have, I'm working on that. Last week I skipped this stream because I was working on it. This week I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna at least do the stream, even though you're gonna have to watch me work on a project that does not apply to you. So yeah, my drink. My God, your drinks keep getting bigger. Yeah, well, and this. Gotta stay hydrated in this weather. So I will switch over to the Fusion screen. Here's the project I have been working on. This is the under tray platform for my Traxxas TRX6 AMG 63 6x6. This is what we're at right now. This whole project, you can see lots and lots of pieces. The exhaust are on the vehicle actually, and I just modeled them so that I could kind of design some things around it. Now, everything that you see here, I have already fabricated, and they're bolted on the vehicle, but I'm not going to show you that because it's going to be Wednesday. But what I need to work on is the extension piece for the rear that will cover the rear axles and then create the rear diffuser. Going to get any trailer designing done tonight? No. This week I'm gonna skip that because I want to do a little bit of work on this, and then I'm actually gonna go try and test the rig tonight. Still, I'm just trying to let it cool down just a little before I do that. So instead, I'm gonna work on this for a little while longer. I've been working on this all day between fabricating and printing. The whole purpose of what I've been designing here is this is a mix of CNC cut and 3D printed parts. So like the whole under tray itself is a piece of CNC cut expanded PVC foam. So it's like an in-between of, I don't have a scrap of it in here. It's an in-between of a foam and a plastic board. It's really light, but it's got enough rigidity. It's cool all around. Oh, Dale C, you had mentioned, what about modifying an existing STL file? You had mentioned that. Let's do that quickly. Instead of making you guys go through everything that I'm doing on this pointless project, let's try and just modify some sort of STL quickly, just because. And then we're going to get into my project, and you guys are going to have to work on that. What should we, you guys throw out some things throw out some suggestions of something I should search for and then modify. While you're throwing out suggestions, I will then while you're doing that, let's see. We're gonna switch back to my camera so I stop showing you my analytics of stuff. So propane circle circle maker. Cell phone holder, ESC scale toilet. Dead man switch. That's somebody's product, and I don't want to like. If you guys want to make one of those yourself, go for it. I just don't want to like go through something like that just because I thought it was a cool idea, and so I don't want to pull something like that. Windscreen pliers. Oh, pillar. Oh, Dale, the actual DeLorean you're talking about. Yeah, that's. I think what we'll do is we'll find something that's more basic, and we'll try and modify from there. And then hopefully you can use that because otherwise it's a large file and it could get clunky, and um, that's my concern there. Rear fuel tank, hula girl, cell phone holder, propane tank, circle maker. All right, let's just throw that chef's cup out. Chefs, Chiefs. Oh, and I wore. Well, I don't think Chibs is in here yet, but this was the shirt that he sent me, so I was like, oh, let's metric screw measuring device. Well, that's kind of a cool part. I mean, just for, huh? That's not a. I mean, you guys should print that yourselves anyway. I wish. Huh, I liked. Looks like there's a number of them, but that's kind of a cool. Hmm. Well, that's a pretty decent design. I don't want to modify that. Let's see. Anything. Type roller, you can use 3 bearings to make it a functional. RC scale parts. Alex Callie made it. Getting out of the storms, obviously causing him. We'll see if we can. We're just gonna have to make a decision here before too long, because I don't want to waste too much time on this. Let's just go to. Let's just download one of my parts, and then I'll just modify it from there. That way I'm not like ripping off somebody else's stuff, and I don't know, I feel weird about that anyway. What all do I have on here? Is there anything? We have here, let's just download this thing. Let's not tip me because that doesn't seem reasonable. So show and finder. Okay. So let's file, open, browse, downloads. Let's intake top, open. So when you have an STL file like this, it's not like a normal solid. You don't have all of the ability to do, most of the things. But what you can do is you can take it from, where is the conversion? Is it utility? There's a convert setup where you can basically take and go, here we go. From brep to mesh, I believe, or I think we want to go the other way, don't we? I think it's actually the other way that we want to go. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. So here is the bomber intake that I had done a long time ago. What we want to do is we want to take this and convert this back to a B rep, but I wish I would have remembered that you had asked me to do this. Otherwise, I would have been in a better situation to do this. I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty much just not in the right spot to. I should have. I've only done this a couple of times, but I was almost. I thought it was through here. No, I'm sorry. This is just not actually. We can't see the bottom of my screen. Yeah, sorry about that. But actually, I don't have anything. Doing exactly. We're get. I will. I'll be better prepared for that next week. I hope. So sorry. We're going back to this. Like I was saying, this is the under tray setup for the AMG 63 6x6. It's a mix and match of 3D printed and CNC cut pieces. Now, the interesting, there is some fun stuff to do here. What I'm going to be doing is I'm actually using a lot of sheet metal components for some of this flat stock because I can make it do certain things, have sweeping, you know, like sweeping portions and things like that, but then it'll give me a flat pattern once it's done. And that's, so I'm in this model now, but I'm going to the sheet metal here at the top. Then we're going to hit new component. The parent is fine where it's at. Aluminum is okay because we're going to override most things anyway. So this is now a new component in here, and we're going to create a sketch on the bottom of the main underpan, which I've created at this point. And what I am going to do is start creating the extension for the rear section. I'm just using construction lines to make sure everything is properly spaced. So you can see there it's symmetric about that center line. Now I do have like I said, I've fabricated everything else that's already on this screen. It's already done and bolted on the car and it's right next to me here, but I'm purposefully hiding it from you just because I want to show it all on Wednesday. But I think I can comfortably go 125 millimeters wide, 130 even. Let's go to 125 just to keep it a little bit more reasonable. Now, the other thing is, okay, serious question for once. Are we using the exhaust? Are you using the exhaust and a mounting point for the underbelly? No, I'm not using it for a mounting point, but I wanted to cut these side dams around it properly because I wanted to leave them just because I thought that would be fun. So I needed to model them and model their position. So these were all modeled with 3D sketches and sweeps to create this whole thing. They're not the most accurate, but they're pretty close, and it worked out pretty well in my actual. So running you through, we've got the whole belly pan, and then this piece here is 3D printed. And then you can see that green piece, that's another piece of that same PVC expanded foam board. So it bolts through there, and then these upper pieces mount to the rockers, and that foam board mounts to there. So the foam board is what holds the underbelly on the sides. And then in the front, there's another similar system you can see there. This is foam board. There's a 3D printed adapter on the back and up at the top. This was 1/4-inch Delrin that I cut. So how do you lock center line of an object one to another? Oh, okay. So lagging. There we go. there's snaps. Like if I create a line, it's on a construction line now. When you see the triangle, so see it's going to, oh, see right there, that triangle that pops up? That means center line. Or sorry, midpoint. So I will base things on the midpoint like that often. And then you can use your construction line to snap to the origin like I did over here. And then I used a horizontal constraint to make sure that things stayed properly aligned. I'm going to pull a measurement to the rear axle. So I need 230 millimeters. And that'll get me just past the rear axle. All I hear is I used money to make this. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, the machine wasn't cheap, but the foam board is actually cheap. Everything that was, it didn't cost me much to actually produce what you see here, but the machines. So we're going to, I'm going to create some construction lines and I'm going to take individual lines between these. I'm going to, I want to create kind of a bolt pattern to mount these two together. So I'm 6 millimeters offset. What I'm going to do is grab all of those line segments and I'm going to offset them 12 millimeters. And then I think I'm going to just go on centers. Once I've created those, I'll just kind of stagger it. Hit X to turn them back to regular circles and then use the equal constraint, make them all the same size. And then we'll just dimension one of these at 3.5 millimeters. So that's going to give me the base for this. The foam board, is that from the hardware store or not? No, I went and got it at a local plastic supply shop. A 4x8 sheet was like $40, I think, for 1/8 inch thick, which is what I'm using. And then I had it cut into 2 foot by 4 foot sections, and then I cut it myself into 1 foot by 2 foot because you can just take a razor blade knife and cut through it. And it's a cool material. It's maybe once we get a little bit further in the stream, I'll pull up the car and just kind of show you like a non-discrete angle of it at least. So we're going to finish this sketch and I'm going to extrude that up negative 0.125 inches just so that it goes the correct way. Oh wait, oops. We use the create flange just because that way it actually makes it a sheet metal part to start with. Forgot. So, like I said, this is a sheet metal part. So a little bit different than how you would work with like 3D printing. But the reason I want to do that is that I'm going to now from here, see, this is how for sheet metal, you know, you can just create bends and things like that. And these bend radii are based on what's called bend tables for metal. But since it's foam and I have some other plans, we're going to override this. My angle, I think we're going to do something like 15 degrees. This is going to be for a rear splitter or rear diffuser, so maybe that's a little steep. 10 degrees, I think that's Jeremiah with the donation, $2.99. Thank you, Jeremiah. How do you think it will handle on 4S? I'm a little nervous to find out. I don't know yet. I've got one charged today. I think I'm gonna go try it. I'm definitely gonna try 3S. I've got the front half of the underpan done and bolted on, and that's what I think I'm going to test with. This stream I'm probably going to do around an hour and a half or so, but from there we'll see. Okay, so I did that. Now what I'm going to do is hit bend override because this radius I'm going to adjust. I'm going to make this kind of a more of a sweeping radius. So I'm going to go like 200 millimeters, which is like 8 inches. That'll give me a bit more of a sweeping radius on this foam, and I think that'll work. Okay. Now, when will you be making a block machined dancing rider? Dancing rider, I've got them on there. I've got some dancing rider projects on the plans. So now this whole thing right now currently let's see if we grab these two faces. Yeah, I believe it'll let me pull that out. I'm going to click on that surface, and I believe that will, yeah. So I went and clicked on the surface of the side little air dam, and that brought me out to a consistent width. So I can hit that. If I do the same thing on this side, $52.5 on both. Deal. To hell with 4S, 6S, let's do 80. I'm not scared to do 6S, but maybe not until the finale. I'll burn it up for the sake of video, but I got to get all my weeks of video in. Okay. I need 280 millimeters from this back edge before the end of the tire. So we're going to do a sketch on the bottom. And we're going to just double check how far 280 is. So I actually didn't need to grab both profiles, just one, but it's okay. Do a construction line so we can mirror these items or lines, whatever. Did it snap? Nope, it did not. It's okay. Doesn't really matter. Just define it at least. Throw some radii in the corners. Do 10. So the benefit of sheet metal parts like this is this portion up here where it says create flat pattern. You do that, you select the stationary face, hit OK, and then it gives you this, which would be a perfectly flat item. That way you can machine basically, or based off of that. That's the benefit of why I'm using this for this purpose, because I hope to make this out of a flat material. What you could use this for, if obviously the CNC router tables aren't super common if people have it at home, but you can design kind of these complex templates or parts, whether it's styrene or whatever, create your bent parts and then print them out on your printer and make yourself perfect templates that you could make parts on much easier. That's something that I used to do more commonly for some of the metal parts that I would make at home. So now from here, I have a lot of mounting situations to kind of come up with, and that's going to be another whole thing for me because I've got to remove the rear kind of fuel or rear skid plate thing that this truck has and then replace that with my mount. But so this whole thing will have to get very, very stylized in that way. But underneath of here, what we're going to do is create a 3D printed part. And that's kind of what we're going to work on tonight, because to make this whole piece actually look good and tie into all of this stuff, I need to have the truck up and do all of those items. Josh, have you used any drawing tablets in a CAD program? I have, but I've got a Wacom big tablet here, but for me, I don't like them at all. Just they don't feel natural to me. If it was one that had was the screen and everything, then maybe I feel like I could, but the normal tablet stuff just doesn't work for me. So we're gonna go back to solid because we're gonna kind of work back on 3D printed stuff now. We're gonna create a new sketch based off the bottom. We're gonna go to the right. Now for the rear diffuser, actually, we're in the wrong component. We're gonna go back to this one. So we're gonna start a new part on that side plane. Find that. We're gonna bring this back to some point. Okay, that's proper. $100mm long diffuser seems reasonable. I think I want the tail to be vertical on it. We're gonna go two-sided. One side we're gonna take all the way over. Second side as well. We're gonna make sure it's a new body. I'm doing this because I think we're gonna do more carving out of a solid piece than we are starting from nothing. Now, what I never like when they go down to like a nothing point, because that makes it very difficult to 3D print. So I'm gonna put a 0.5 mm radius on it. That'll shorten that up quite a bit, as you can see, which I'm fine with that. It's not too bad of a transition. Most of the aero on this project is like, yeah, it's a little bit for performance, and then it's a lot of bit for style. So that's the point. So I'm going to, we're gonna do some sweeps for the cut. So we're gonna do some of, actually let's do some math, some fun math. If we, what do we have in total width? 230mm total width. Okay. I'm going to, yeah. based off the origin. I think we should make each of these kind of fin areas about 5 millimeters wide. So 2.5 off the center line. That gives us 130. Let's say, did I say 260 millimeters wide or 230? Oh, I can't remember. 230, so 115 millimeters per side. I think we can get 3 sections per side. Or should we shoot for, yeah, 3 I think will be enough. 6 total. So we're gonna go make these 3 line segments equal. Getting a little laggy on some stuff. Computer CPU usage isn't high. Oh, I see my frames though. Looks like it's internet more than anything. Sorry. We're going to use construction lines to help get all of this stuff make these lines collinear. These equal out our spacing. Then if we define one of them, space the rest. Now we just need to give that 2.5 millimeters should be enough. So now we're going to create a line, but this is going to be our sweep path. So we're going to create a line. We're going to start there, but then you can see my plane I need to rotate. So we're going to drag that 90. So we're going to make sure that those two. So actually, I'm going to redo that. Start there. We're going to rotate that again to 90. Did that. We have to do it one more time for the arc so that we follow the 3D sketches in Fusion are kind of funky, but once you get past the main part, they're usually all right. So I think we've got enough there. What we're going to do is hit finish sketch. Nope, Jeremiah donated again. Appreciate it. Says, remember to hit the like, smash the like button. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we're going to hit sweep. We're going to select our profiles, which are these. And then we're going to hit path. We're going to select that line that we just, ooh, it does not want. Can I hide the bodies? I have to go back and edit that sketch one more time. We're going to turn those into regular lines rather than construction lines. See what that does. There we go. So you can see that sweeping cut that it's having us make. And now we should be able to mirror feature, select that, mirror plane. So now we are just gonna go through and add some fillets into, I don't know why I always do that rather than just staying in one view. It's like a habit to like rotate. I feel like it, I know people always say, I have OCD, I have OCD. I don't think I really have it. I don't think most people who say they do either, but just like a force of habit that's inefficient and should be broken. Doesn't want me to put a very going to cancel that and see if we can do a larger fillet without selecting all of those lines. Nope. Something about that point that just See, I don't know why it's not where it's trying to create this weird fillet at. Urgh. All right, we're going to go back and adjust our 3D sketch. We're going to delete that line segment. Do this. Again, we're going to rotate our sketch plane 90 degrees. We're going to make sure that it's collinear with the other one. We're going to adjust the feature path. Okay, so now we have a smoother path. It doesn't have that same curve, but shouldn't be shouldn't give us any headaches. So now at least we can do radiuses, radii. Oh, hey, Matt's in here. While I was not paying attention to comments, he popped in. Hello, sir. Hopefully you're enjoying cooler weather than me. It has kept me from actually going outside and driving this truck. Instead, I've spent all weekend drawing and building things that add weight. So we put a radius on the inside. Let's throw a chamfer on these rear trailing edges. Something like that. I think that looks a little better. Yeah, I like that. Little radius on the, let's add a small radius to this, which will allow us to float. We'll do a 1 mil. Then we can do that. 1 mil as well. Just kind of smooth things out a little bit. Now, I'm deleting that. I'm going to see. I'm going to throw a, no, leave that back in. I'm going to leave this bottom flat like that. So I'm going to 3D print it that way. I think that'll be fine. I don't even think I'll need support material between there. I think it'll be fine. Now, what we do have to do, however, is trim out all of that extra stuff we just created in those wheel openings. So we're going to use project and we're going to grab all of that line work. Nope. All right. So cut the diffuser, trimmed it to the size or to the shape of the upper portion. I'm going to open the appearance tab and we're just going to throw a color on that for now so you can see what we're working with. So we've added that. I will need to make sure that I can actually attach it. Do that, and I'm going to add 2 rows of hardware there, 1 there. Using center points of other items just because we can use intersections then to properly space all of our hardware. I'm not going to put screws at every intersection. I don't think that's needed, but like on the outsides, we'll put them at both intersections. And 1 in the center there, 1 there. Oh, I was off. Thought I had different spacing. Almost. Now we definitely don't have all of our snaps in place, but we'll go back and adjust all of that. First, I'm just going to grab all the circles I made. Probably should have just done half of these and then mirrored them, but we didn't. Okay, I think we're still going to be good. That, whoa, what did that do? That was interesting. We need to dimension that though. All right. Well, most of those are there. A couple of those are giving me a little bit of an issue, but nothing that's too. So again, all this stuff was why it won't let me pick that. Oof. It is giving me problems. Joy. Okay, so let me grab most of them. I'm guessing I've got some snaps off in a couple of places, which is reasonable to believe. But like I was talking about a second ago, I could have just mirrored these and all of them on that side work. So we're going to cut through, and I believe we are going to cut through both parts. I'll hit OK for now. Looking like an infraction boot. Yes, something like that, right? So I'm going to select those holes that we just cut. Features. There we go. So it cut those holes for us. The mounting points, I need to put some along the bottom still, but that'll give me the diffuser look I'm after. I have a lot of checking to do on what I can do behind that. Some of this stuff I'm gonna have to go through and completely tweak, but I need the truck to really do all of that, and that's going to be, like I said, we're trying to keep that down there until I finish so that we can keep things reasonable. But my diffuser, that's fairly reasonable, not too aggressive. I mean, I maybe make it more aggressive, and that wouldn't make me too mad. There's some things like this, like I've got hard edges on the back, which you don't want. And yes, like that. That looks good. So now we don't have a hard edge on the front anymore. Just a nice rolled over. And still seems reasonable for 3D printing. Gives us this. So I have a whole upper structure here that I have to create. Bolt holes on the green piece are bolting into nothing. There's no metal plate under. Right, up here, that's correct. Like I said, this will probably have to be extended, but I also have to build a mounting structure above it. So that's what all of those are going to go into. And then anything that they don't, I'll have a piece that they'll thread into. Most everything that I've designed on here has been made to be replaced easily. Uh, like individual parts, the pieces of the air dam are done in sections so that, if I crash, hopefully I crash in one corner so I can, just replace two or three rather than having to reprint all of the whole piece. And if that it was one big piece, it would be even more of a pain to just have to reprint that every single time. So that's why I did all these things in sections. And the front air dam is done in Lexan. And that allows me to, for one, if it breaks or it hits something, hopefully it folds away or breaks a lot easier. It looks like you need to activate this version of Windows. Thank you, Matt. Yes, you are correct. Oh, I'm getting shamed on my Windows. I don't know why I have never done that. I need to do that. But like I said, and this was another one of those ones that this is done as a sheet metal part. So I can go in there and see the flattened version. Like this one up here, it's tilted back and rotated. So the flat pattern for it, this is actually just one half of it. And then I mirror it so that I can actually create my tool paths. But it makes it so much easier when you just create it like that. And then I can cut it into CNC. Very, very simple for this type of thing. I have a friend at Microsoft if you need help. The last two computers I've bought Windows licenses from Kingwin and then done that way. So you get them for like $30. I don't know if you guys have ever used that Kingwin's like Penguin, but King actually works pretty well. It's like $30 for a license of Windows. I don't know why. I just need to get off my butt and do it for this one too. Especially since it's my streaming PC and it's the only one that you guys ever actually see the desktop of. Stay hydrated, everybody. Okay. So, okay, rear diffuser. I have a lot of rear diffuser mount. Oh, I need to create my bridge piece. So we're gonna go back up. Yeah, we're working on that. Top. I don't expect this to be a part that's often broken, but I've been wrong before. But I'm still just gonna create this out of. I hate when it won't snap to things. Just because I created it off of a different component first. So it does not want to snap to the center points of these bottom ones. I know I'm not even close where my first click is, but 2.5 millimeter radius. Is it gonna let me? Yep. I can do it manually. It just wouldn't let me do it with a snap. That's weird. Equal. right. We'll just draw to the center line of this for now. Line. Going to use center to center as a construction line, and then just use that to create my parallel constraint. Those do like a 5mm offset, and we'll make sure that we're about 5mm off the center line up there. That. Flip that center one to a construction, and then we'll put our 2.5mm radius. Can we go? Can we fit a 4? Yeah, even 5 will work. We'll do 5. So we'll go make that 5mm thick new body. So that'll give me, now the only thing is that I made this like exactly touching. I didn't give it any wiggle at all, which I feel like I kind of should, but I guess the easiest way to do that would be, we're going to go in, I'm going to trim that. Is it that one? No, there we go. We're going to pull that edge back. Whoops, negative. We'll give it a 1mm gap. All right. So now that shouldn't be a problem. Make sure that I don't have the seedy underbelly of the Monthly Mayhem 6x6. Yes, quite literally. So piece there, we can get that 3D printed. That'll be just a easy part. This is another one that I feel like I could break up, but being that it's going to be in kind of an awkward spot, I'd rather just leave it whole. I don't think, no, I'm not going to have any issues there with interference. So throw a color on it just to keep things interesting, and hit save, of course. I should find a spot for a high-pitched whistle, so when it hits full speed, it's screaming down the road. 50 pounds of bolts. Yeah, there's a lot of hardware. I'm telling, like I said though, half this arrow is for styling only. It'll help a little bit, but mainly it's for style. Like I mean, there's a lot going on here, but all of it's actually kind of surprising how lightweight SBG watching and taking notes. I think that, I am taking advantage of some new fancy tools I bought, at least. So, Matt's not gonna do that. Let's see, 55 to 90. Like you see here in the front section, I've made some cuts for the center pumpkin of the diff, just because it gets real close. So we're going to Is it? Yeah. $55, $90, and then $220. So let's see, how long was this one? This one is 35. This one's only 30. We're gonna go to 185 on the front. Sparks are a dangerous game when you live in California. That is true. If that styled explains your wardrobe, boom roasted. So funny. And this is cool styling, Matt. Thank you. 25 millimeters wide is what I went with before. So we're just gonna match that. Those equal. Now, let's see. Off center line. Okay. Let's see. Did that? Did not. Center. Okay. So there, we've located those. And what did I use for a radius up in the front? 5 mil? 6 millimeter for some reason. Couple of cutouts for diffs. Granted, makes it slightly less aerodynamic, but still. I will say I'm learning a lot about actual 360, so thanks for that. Oh yeah, you're welcome. So, base of the rear pan, base of the diffuser is started. I still have all of the connection points to make. I don't think that I'm gonna need anything mid, like between the connection point and the rear. Like I said, this expanded PVC foam that I'm using is nice. It's rigid enough, but super lightweight. So I think the purpose of it in general will serve what I'm after, but without, I'm not worried about like the weight of it sagging. So that's my main concerns at this point. These corners definitely need to be rounded though, don't they? Yeah. That definitely needs to. Now I will say that I do have this diffuser hanging down off the bottom of the car about, oh, I don't know what it is, but 30 millimeters maybe. Get rid of that sketch. I'll round that off later. Um, but I made the distance I created isn't all the way down on the ground. It's still probably 20 millimeters off the ground when the car's even at full bump, uh, just because I don't want it to just be catching all the time. Just trying to smooth it out enough. When will these trucks hit 88? The last week on 6S with mine could have the flaming marks behind it, but it'll just be motor components that are just strewn out the back. So, J.R. Lawson, I'm learning too, Matt. Thanks for showing us. Thanks for showing this to us. No problem. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. I think this gives us a pretty decent base for what we have here. This corner though is bugging me. I don't like the way that it looks. So we're going to create a sketch on that. Let's put like a 18 millimeter radius. Yeah, sure. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to construction line. I'm going to mirror that radius. Ah, I hate when he does that. Because of the angle and all that. It's okay. We just created some lines around it to fill in the sketch. It's a cheating way to do it. It's not the cleanest way to draft, but you get what you pay for on this. So you can see here what it did do, however, is it kind of creates this weird step. But since I'm going to be CNC machining this top plate, I don't really care because I'm only going to grab one kind of one line. But just for fun, and since I am going to try and keep this stream a little bit shorter, I'll show you guys the rest of the process for this machining thing. Jeremiah again, thanks man. How thick is the PVC foam? Also wanted to share my time winter hits. It's living full time in a van. Oh. By this time winter hits, I'll be living full time. Oh, van life. Van life stuff is cool. Like watching that. You should document it. So let me show you guys what the oh, to answer your actual question though, I'm using 1/8 inch expanded PVC foam board. It's thin enough, light enough, but still has some decent rigidity. It's cool. Did I keep engine? Actually, I did. So this is 1/4 inch, but I mean, this weighs like this was a scrap piece I bought. It's 8 inch by 8 inch, but you can see here, like if I try and bend it, it doesn't bend very much at all. But if I take my X-Acto knife and I just like go to a corner here, I can just, cut the corner off. Like it just just kind of, it cuts through. It's this crazy mix of between foam and plastic, and it's really cool, and I'm super glad that I discovered it. So okay, we're gonna go flat pattern, click this button, and it takes us to this. So we have this piece here, and then at the top we go from design, which we're in now, and we go to manufacture. Oh, why is it? Sometimes it does this weird stuff. So you can see how it like layers all these things. It's just like a weird thing with Fusion. So this is the piece. We're gonna go setup, new setup, model, and we just select that one. Hit. Go to this, stock top offset. We're gonna go 0. Hit OK. Will it? Can I isolate right now? Sometimes it does this weird stuff. Ugh. Okay, hold on. We're going to collapse all these and get everything else turned off. I swear. Can we just undo past all of this? There we go. Okay, that was terrible. Let's see, can I just isolate? Fusion is acting very strange right now. We're going to save, hopefully avoid a crash. Which looks like we did. Okay. We're heading in the right direction. I'm going to setup, new setup. Okay, at least we have the right part showing. So you come in here, now at least I have a piece of material created. And then what you have to do is you have to define what you want to do. So like drilling, I go in here and I'll select these holes and I can hit select similar size. And that will have automatically selected all of the holes that I want to drill. Pretty easy as far as that goes, right? Well, one thing we have to do is we have to go and we have to select the tool that we're going to use. So there's a list of tools in here. I'm using a end mill, even though I'm drilling, but for this foam, it flies through it. So 1/8 inch end mill, that way I can do all of this with one tool rather than having to do tool changes. So we'll create that. Depths, full bottom. I'm going to offset the bottom height by -0.5 millimeters. That way it just goes all the way through my material, and I have a sacrificial board on my CNC. So it'll go all the way through and just a little bit deeper and kind of touch into that wood. So you can see this blue, which is with the actual drilling operation, just shows that it's going a little bit deeper. The next thing I would do is a 2D contour, and we would do the inside portions first, because once you cut the outside, it's not held in place, so it would just roll around. So you want to cut the insides first. Again, heights, we're going to offset the bottom height by -0.5. Okay. Up feed rate. We'll just go aluminum roughing. It'll give us a feed and speed that's reasonable. So it created that. And then lastly, we would do another 2D contour, which would be all of that. That whole outside cut there. One more time, same thing. I think I could probably set this up as a default, but now there's also a geometry option here where we can do add tabs. We do it by at points, for example, if I wanted to. And then I can just come in here and say, I'm going to leave a tab here. I'm going to leave a tab here. And this would just be that, so while it's cutting, it doesn't cut all the way through at these points, so that it leaves it in place. Otherwise, as it's going, the whole thing's just going to be kind of loose and moving around. So we've got all of the tabs done. We've set our heights and we hit OK. So now we've got a drilling operation. Then we have the 2D contouring of these inner pockets. And then lastly, we have the outside. Now in Fusion, you can come up here and hit Simulate. And it'll show you this green material is what I programmed the size of the actual material to be. And then we can hit play. And it will show you, I didn't do all of it. We're going to simulate the whole thing. So you can see it simulating the drilling first. The tool pass, then it's going to come in and do the contour. There. Then it'll go up and do the inner. And then lastly, it'll do the outside. Now you'll see it leave the tabs. Or you might not see it, but I'll show you. But you can see there, this is what it did. You can see where it's showing the cuts. But like, see the little tab left over there is one. There is one. All the places I added. Now you can make it taller. You can make it, wider, thicker, anything you want. You program it how you think. Can you film the milling process and show it in another video? Yeah, I'll show it in this week's Monthly Mayhem. Because I've done a bunch of cutting for this project. So I've filmed a number of it and I'll include it in that. His machine is fancy, but not too, what's it? Sacrificial board on a CNC. No vice on the machine. This is a CNC router. So it's super basic, it's not like it's just the easy way to go. But even on like my old desktop mill, that was like an actual mill, I used a sacrificial board for most things because the accuracy of what I was doing, I wasn't worried about. So I didn't need to do soft jaws and all that. This, I can put the material in there. For foam board like this, I'll just tape it down. I'll just tape the edges down and it'll cut it and it's done. I don't have to worry about clamping or anything like that, making fixtures. It's just it. Now my machine has the T-slot bed if you want. So you can actually use, T-nuts and clamp things down, put a vise on it if you want. You can also buy the 4-axis adapter, but for me, I just don't need it. So this is super easy for this type of stuff. It's just the easiest way to go. So simple. But now I've got all of the programming done for this project. And then I would just hit post-process up here and save out the data for the programming, program number, call it what I want to. I'm not going to actually do that for this one because I've got a lot more that'll need to be done. But you know, that gives you an idea of what I go through to, you know, write. It's a little bit more involved than 3D printing because, you know, feeds and speeds depend on the material. You know, you can cut through this foam board basically as fast as that machine will go. It just blows through it. But you know, that machine's capable of doing aluminum. And if you were doing aluminum, you would not want to be going at the speeds that I was showing. So, if Josh wanted an extra Instagram account, he could probably just do oddly satisfying machining videos. By the way, why are we wearing bras on our head? Oh, yes. So that's what we're at. I am going to cut this stream off at this point though, because the sun's starting to go down. Hopefully it's a little bit cooler. And will that mill work with wood? Yes, it'll absolutely do wood. That's a lot of what it does, or a lot of what people use the machine that I have specifically for. The machine I have is called the Stepcraft D600. Um, the machining envelope on it is like 27 by 17, 24 by 17, something like that, and 5 inches of Z height. So that gives you the size of material that you can fit in there. I was thinking CNC like Haas big. Oh, no, like that's what we have at work, but better than Haas. Haas is kind of like the low end, but um, this is just for me perfect. This is in my garage. I can bang out RC parts all day long. It's nice. It's so handy to have. But yes, anyway, I'm gonna actually go take the 6x6 out now that I've got my under tray installed. And we're gonna go see what this thing can do on 3S, maybe 4S. So wish me luck, but we've got stuff to go do. Thanks again, guys. Sorry, my project tonight was all about projects that I'm working on and not the typical projects that we've been kind of going through on this. But Monthly Mayhem is all consuming all times. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Make sure you watch Monthly Mayhem this weekend or this week, Wednesday. Later.